Good afternoon, we're back at Thorpe Park today for a little bit of a video idea that a friend gave to me of, top 10 kind of ways to deal with a busy day at Thorpe Park. As we know, Thorpe Park is very close to London, so it can get quite busy, especially with the transport links around the area. So without further ado, we're going to get onto the park and I'll give you some ideas and some tips to kind of deal with the stress and kind of tribulations of being at Thorpe Park on a busier day. See you in a bit. So one of the biggest things that you can do when you're at a busy day at Thorpe Park is actually make sure that you've got the Thorpe Park app downloaded. Take a look at the queue times, they're updated very regularly. As you can see, there's pushing an update there, and you can check which coasters, which thrill rides have the queues. So you can then plan your day and pop over to the ride that you think is most suitable for yourself. So moving on from my previous point about checking the queue time app, I've noticed that Swarm actually only has a 15-minute queue, so I'm going to head down there, and with the time that I'm saving going on other rides, I can probably get on Swarm about 3 times for the amount of time I'd have waited for something like, say, Colossus, which is on about a 60-minute queue. It's worth bearing in mind that some roller coasters will have a higher capacity and you can get on them more often. So another tip we have here is that Thorpe Park actually has a large collection of small rides and flat rides. These never tend to get much of a queue, so you're free to jump on these rides and go around as much as you want, giving you great value for money at the park and making sure that you have a worthwhile day. Another point that is, if you're here in summer, the Amity Beach usually opens. This usually closes in the colder months, but when it's warmer it opens up, giving you more chance to get on more attractions. Another point is to try and avoid rides that have kind of low capacity but a very kind of long ride cycle. Things like Depth Charge take ages to go up the stairs and the queue moves very slowly. You're going to feel like you're queuing much longer than you actually are. So avoid things like Depth Charge or some of the smaller flat rides. So I've just got over to Swarm, and this brings me to another point. It's just broken down, and these things are natural. They happen, and the park can't help it. The best thing to do is just go to another ride, find something else to go on. There are plenty of rides across the resort that you can jump on, and you'll only wait about 5 minutes. I'm going to head over to Flying Fish, because I can get on that about 5 times and not worry. Another issue we have: don't visit guest services here at the island unless you absolutely have to. It ends up just making a longer queue for the people that actually do need it. So another of the rides with issues with low capacity is something like Storm Surge. The boats are quite small, they don't seat many people, and it does take a while for the ride to get up the lift hill, as you can see from the footage on screen. So try and avoid rides like these if you want to get the most out of your day. So I was just walking past Soar Live, and it gave me another kind of idea. Try to avoid the queues by not coming on a busy day. Unfortunately, it's a fact that when you come on a weekend, you know that there are going to be queues around the park. So try to organise your trip for a quieter day. Midweek is always good. The beginning of season on the first day is actually usually the quietest. So always try and come back or visit the park when it's, not as busy anyway. So another of the tips I've got, if you look in this area, there's actually 3 rides around here. So you can quite easily, they always have short queues, so you can quite easily get on 3 different rides in this area. Unfortunately, the tiny little drop tower is actually only for children, so if you've got children with you, this ride area is perfect. So this is Old Town on the map. Pop along here, you can get on 3 rides quite easily. Now unfortunately this area can get quite busy at Fright Nights, so if you are visiting at Fright Nights I would recommend that you don't come to this area, especially around this bit, because it gets extremely packed. So again, talking about smaller rides that have lower queues, we have Rush, Zodiac and Vortex in this whole area. That's 3 rides that usually don't get a queue of much more than about 20 minutes. Currently, Rush is having some issues though and is only running 1 arm, but normally when it has 2 arms working, it will be a much lower queue. But yeah, don't forget to check out this side of the park in Lost City, because you will get on 3 different rides here, all with low queues. Interestingly, if you're actually out at the park on a busy day, sometimes they will extend ride openings so that you can get on some more rides throughout your day, making your day even more worthwhile. So another of my favourite things to do when the park is busy is to visit some of the food outlets and grab a nice drink. It's something that you can do and there's never really a queue to do that. So yeah, make sure that you visit Finn's Bar and Grill. Check that one out.